Hi, listeners. Welcome to another HRO Today Educational Podcast. In this series, we aim to provide you the latest workforce management approaches and best practices in HR. I'm Debbie Bolla, Senior Vice President and Editorial Director of HRO Today magazine. A challenging economy, a tight labor market, an upcoming presidential election, 2024 has certainly been a year fraught with uncertainty. These factors are driving HR leaders to pivot their strategies when it comes to attracting, managing, and retaining top talent. One consideration is employee recognition. Recent research finds that recognizing employees can have a major impact. In fact, for 78% of employees, recognition makes them more likely to stay at a company, and for 76%, it's a motivation to work harder. But how should organizations approach recognition during this time of change and uncertainty? Luckily, I have an expert here with me today to answer this question and more. Paul Gordon is the Senior Vice President of Sales for Rymax, a leader in employee recognition programs. With more than 30 years of experience, Paul's leadership has driven innovative loyalty rewards programs designed to boost frequency and achieve higher returns. Paul has led the expansion of sales accounts by cultivating new client relationships, driving organic growth for existing clients, and aligning Rymax's national brand partners with exclusive incentive programs. Thanks, Paul, for joining me today. 2024 has been a year that has been marked by economic uncertainty. How is this shaping approaches to recognition programs?
So 2024 is faced with some real economic issues, and to a certain extent, because it's an election year, a little bit of manufactured issues. You have politicians that are talking about tax cuts and new programs, and, you certainly see a bleak picture, but yet promises of what can come. So that creates uncertainty without a doubt. The Fed rate cut that just happened, that's going to be interesting to see how that affects everything, but that'll be months, down the road. What's interesting about for us and for loyalty and recognition programs is that the redemptions have actually gone up because the recognition points don't hit their wallet. And so people that have a really good, robust program and their employees are being recognized with points or however they really want to talk about what the currency is, when they're able to then redeem for products that they need or they desire, it really becomes a very, very strong point. And so that's what we've seen right now. Even though, certainly things are more expensive, whether it's at the gas pump or whether it's at the grocery store, people are still buying, they're still doing things. In our business, more practical products are redeeming, which is sort of normal. People like to cook. They like to do stuff with their home improvement. They like electronics. But also, luxury brands are becoming more and more of a play post-pandemic with Tory Burch, Kate Spade, MCM, brands like that. So that's encouraging, too, because I think that people still are going out. You go to any restaurant, it's packed. You go to any concert with high concert ticket prices, it's packed. And people still want to go out there. So I think that that's what we're seeing right now. And I think because of the labor pool shift, companies are seeing a greater need for these types of programs. And it's important to retain the employees, recruit new employees, and really just firm up their business overall.
Yeah, you make a good point. It is a great attraction and retention strategy. Now, more than ever, though, employees are focused on their mental health and personal well-being. What role can recognition play in supporting this?
Well, it's a human desire to be recognized, right? I mean, when you were a little kid and you got a great grade and it was hung on the refrigerator or, anything you ever did that was recognized to win a trophy or to be part of something. So I think that's a basic human need. And when companies do that, nothing improves mental health and well-being more like being recognized, rewarded, and appreciated. And so the programs really are important because when an employee gets something, they're sharing that information with their family, with their friends. There's a sense of pride that goes into it. There's just a lot that suddenly makes them feel better about themselves and makes them want to go to work. Employees who feel recognized at work are like 2.5 times more likely to be happy with their jobs. And they're 1.5 more times more likely to get motivated to do their best. So they've been recognized and they see the reward of that. And there becomes a real great satisfaction. Now, for the bottom line for a company, that's going to increase their productivity. They're going to recognize their employees, which creates them being brand ambassadors or company ambassadors to hopefully recruit even more talent in the organization. It helps the company culture and, creates team building, and we need that more than ever because we see the transient nature of the employee base right now. And we know for a fact that it reduces turnover and burnout and all the things that are important. So I think that, the companies need to have it. I think most companies realize they need to have it. I think that the impact needs to come more from leadership and the CEOs as opposed to sort of a program that's run by HR, because people want to know that they're doing a good job and that it's being recognized. So, it's a basic human need, and it's important in business. It's important in life, right? You always want to feel appreciated and recognized. And I think that a comprehensive program is something that fills all of that and also gives them just a better work environment for themselves and for the company.
And with that comprehensive program in mind, what are some other employee preferences around recognition and rewards?
So the number one thing is communication, and the communication tools that are used need to be in sync with the way people use social media, right? Everybody's stuck to their phone. Everybody's looking at things. They're constantly searching and reading different things. And so the communication becomes really critical, and the continual messaging is really important because we all have, and me included, everybody, we have attention spans that are shorter, right? We're always moving on to something else, or we're multitasking. So, what you need to do is you need to have a clear program, you need to communicate on a regular basis, and then you really need to listen to what the employees want. Employees are not just one flavor. You can't say, well, vanilla is going to work for everybody, because everybody has different needs. And so you need feedback from the participants in terms of what they want. We know for a fact that people want name brand products. That's the business that we're in. And the reality is people don't want a knockoff. They want the real thing. If they walk into a retail store, they see a commercial, they see something come across their social media screen, and it's that item, they want to know they can get that. So you need to really have good products of great brands, the latest products, keep it fresh. And then lastly, and most importantly, is you got to give them a choice of the reward. If you think back, hopefully some of the people that are listening to this can remember in the day when, people got an item, or they got a plaque. They didn't have a choice in sort of what they received. When people are recognized and they're now going to be rewarded and they have a chance to actually say, oh, I want this item, you're really making it a personal connection with them. And that really is an important part of really the program. And it keeps them wanting to do more and come back because now they're getting things that they really want and things they really need. So, those are the things that really are happening now. There was a time when a catalog came out, it was never freshened up, and it was for the year. Everything needs to be electronic. Everything needs to be real time. And it needs to be really freshened up and attractive and communicated over and over again to the participants.
So what are some benefits organizations can experience by leveraging employee recognition during this time of change?
Well, we try to track what we do with our own programs. We also listen to, various studies and reports to come through. But, we know that, organizations with a high employee engagement levels are 21% more profitable, right? So that's the bottom line. It's profitability. You want to be able to provide a product or a service that's wanted, but you want to do it where the company can grow. So people that are engaged, you're going to see that level of productivity go up. We know that somewhere 45 to 50% of employees, want to be recognized by a peer. And that's a really important thing. It builds a positive culture. So we talk about peer-to-peer recognition. So it's not just simply a corporate initiative, but each sort of department or department head is given a bank of points, and they can recognize people within their organization and say, hey, you're doing a good job. We're now in a world where there's really a lot of work from home or a hybrid model, and so the team building and the communication is becoming a little bit more sterile, right? More people are just talking via text or email, or they're doing Zooms. So when you are starting to recognize your peer, that really helps the organization out, and it also, builds a better culture. Some other things that the Harvard Business Review just recently found that, 82% of senior leaders feel they don't receive enough recognition. Now think about that. When we're talking about recognition programs and employees, I think everybody in their mind visualizes the middle manager on down, but it also needs to be something that includes upper management. They too want to be recognized. I think that some of the industries like the pharmaceutical industry and some of the bigger companies in telecommunication or automotive, they understand that and they put together really good programs. But those are the things that you really want to do and make sure that, it covers all levels of the organization. A few other things I'll just throw out at you is that over 50% of employees who receive regular recognition are highly likely to recommend their company as a great place to work. Now, we talked about that before when I said they're ambassadors of the company. Well, right now, the labor pool it's very difficult. It's difficult to hire people. It's difficult to retain people. And so if the good people are being recognized and they're now telling their friends, their family, or just anybody that happens to be talking about, a career change, hey, this is a good place to work. They treat you well and they do things that, that are important. You're going to get a better pool of people that are in there. And I think what's probably most staggering is that in terms of statistics, the majority of people actually do not want to have a monetary reward or award. They really want to have a non-monetary award. And that's really important from a budget standpoint, because what you're doing is you're giving them something of a higher perceived value with less cost. So that's good for the bottom line of the company. But it also gives you trophy value. So whatever they choose, as long as they're using that, whether it's a watch on their wrist or it's a TV in their den or it's a handbag, they're going to always remember, oh, I got this because I achieved this or I was recognized by my company. And for those reasons, it just really works, and it builds a tremendous amount of pride in the employee community.
Building pride, building employee loyalty. Those are some impressive results of recognition programs. Thanks, Paul, for joining me today. Until next time, listeners, I'm Debbie Bolla.